Hey everyone, it's JP. I am back. I know I haven't posted in a couple of weeks. Just didn't get a chance. Anyway, but here's some post stud earrings that I've made. So that's the front, and then here's the back. And I'm just using a little tube as the earring back right now. I have some other ones, but just to make it easier for you to see how this looks. This is nice and secure. There's my post in the back. It's kind of a round post. So super cute earrings. Anyway, what you need in terms of materials are going to be these 4x3 rondelles or 3x4. I always forget the nomenclature. People always ask, if I say 4x3, someone will ask me if they can use 3x4, and I'm like, that's the exact same thing. Just think about it. Anyway, and then a 4mm round. I'm using a pearl for the center. You can use whatever type of round bead it is. However, I do recommend that it be a round in this case, just because of the shape of the earrings here. You'll need some 11s and just a little teeny tiny amount of 15s. I'm using the 15s here, and you probably can't tell unless I point them out. I'm using them to fill in some gaps here, just to help it look a little more clean in my opinion. And of course you'll need a post. So this is the kind of post I'm using. This is something I bought from Michael's. Here's the packaging. This was something I bought a long time ago. I did not go out to, well, Michael's is not even open right now. So bought long ago. It comes with 60 pieces, so it'll last you a while. So this particular size is the 8mm size. You can use slightly smaller ones. It doesn't matter because I go pretty tight. One of the reasons I designed this way was that I get pretty close into the post so that even if you had something, you didn't use the 8mm and had something different, you'd still be able to work the design. And trying to think, is that it? Yep. Oh, well, and I'm using 6-pound fireline thread is what I used. I use the smoke just because it shows up better on camera so you could see me as I'm working. But of course you can use the clear also. All right, let's get started. All right, so to start, what you're going to do is pick up 6 of the rondelles and 6 of the 11s. And I'm going to tie a knot. So you're just tying a square knot, pretty basic. And that's going to make this nice ring for us. Make sure that's nice and secure. So there's the ring. And then what you're going to do is actually reinforce the ring again by going through all the beads once more. And so that's all I'm doing here, is just going through the beads. And it looks like I've gone all the way around, so that's where the knot is. So I'm just going to go past a few more beads. And I want to come out of an 11. So there's my 11. Alright, so now pick up 7 11 beads, or 11-aught beads I should say. There's 5, 6, and 7. So skip over the rondelle here, and then go through the next 11, the rondelle, and come out of the second 11 there. So it should be 3 beads that you're going through. And you should get a big loop like that, and then you're going to repeat. So pick up 7 of the 11-aught beads. So there's 7. And again, you're going to skip over this rondelle, and then you're going to go into the 11, the rondelle, and through the next 11 there. And you get another nice loop like that, and then one more time. 4, 5, 6, and 7. And again, skip over that rondelle and go through the 11, the rondelle and the 11 after that, after the ones you skipped. And then I'm going to go back up into my loop here, like so. And so you should have something like this at this point. And what I'm going to do is actually reinforce all the loops. So I'm going to just go through all the same set of beads one more time. And make sure you're not, keep it nice and tight. So again, just reinforcing, going through all the beads, and make sure you don't accidentally skip any of the beads. That's very easy to do, especially with these 11 sometimes. Okay, that's that third loop, and I've reinforced it. So just what I'm going to do is continue forward, and I want to come out of the middle bead in this loop of 7 that we did. So one more, and that's 7, or that's the middle bead of the 7, I should say. So what you're then going to do is find all the middle beads in the other 2 loops and go through those. So I'm going to, here's the middle one there, and I'm just going to pull through, and I'm just going to kind of pull it upwards, but I'm not going to tighten it just yet. And do this again with the middle bead in this one. So this will feel a little bit stiff, don't worry about it. It's because we reinforce, so this will fix itself in a second, and then once again you're back to where we started. So you can see you can see the thread, and you can see it's loose. I'm keeping it loose here just to show you. What you're going to do is take your post and get it into place, and what I do is actually just put the earring down and hold the post at the very tip. So I'm going to hold the post, and it'll probably tip over here at this angle, but you get the idea of what I'm saying. Just hold on to that post with your fingers and tighten the thread. And this can be a little clumsy to do, but it will come together. So it's come together. So what I'm going to do is take my needle and reinforce the circle, and this should help it stay in place. This will take a little bit of pulling, so don't be afraid to give it a good tug, because you want this to be nice and tight, and the beads are wanting to come undone. But what's nice is this is going to feel very secure once you do this. So it may take a few rotations. Alright, so I've gone through it a couple of times, and it is very tight. So, and this post will not move. This is set now. So just go ahead and give it one good tug, and there it is. So now just go ahead, I'm coming out of this bead right there. That's, you can see that, and then you just want to come up the beads on the side here. And they are going to protest. This is going to be tight, so that should be good. You want it nice and tight. But getting up through these beads will be a little bit of a challenge. Okay, so I'm just going to come, I want to come out of a rondelle. So what I'm going to do is just go over here and exit out through a rondelle. There we go. And so this is the front of the earring now. And so what you're going to do is pick up the pearl, or whatever round bead that you're using. You don't have to use a pearl, but any type of round bead. Brown's going to work the best just because of the shape of this, because it's a ring. So I recommend the 4mm round. Pick it up, and you want to go directly to the opposite rondelle. So you're coming out of this one, going to the opposite one, and just go through that one. So you can see the direction of the thread is going to the left, so I'm going to go through the bead from left to right. And again, finding the hole is going to be a little bit of a challenge. There we go. So it's gone through both the rondelle and the 11. Want to back out of the 11. I just went ahead and went through it just to make it easier to get the needle through. So this is what you should have at this point. Now go ahead and go back through the pearl. And then back through this rondelle, which hopefully should be a little bit easier to get through. Or not. And that pops it into place. So actually this, you could stop right here and you have a really cute pair of earrings. And then you would just kind of reinforce. My problem with it was you could still see the post through the back. And so if you're okay with that, then this is perfectly fine. I think these are super cute looking. But let's continue. So what I want to do is go back through the pearl one more time. I'm going to pick up 4 11s. And so I'm coming up this way. I'm going to go back up just through the pearl. So it's going to make a loop. Just like that. And then repeat. Pick up 4 11s. And go back through the pearl once again. So you're going to get these, whoops, sorry. You should have these loops here. All right, so what you're going to do is go through one of the loops that, okay, so you just made, I made just this one. So I'm going to go back through this one. It doesn't really matter which one you go through. And once you go through those 4 11s on this one side, pick up an 11 and go through all 4 on the other side. Okay, and I have one more bead to go through. All right, so pick up this one and go through just the first 2 beads there. Pick up an 11, go through the first 2. So what happens is when you make this loop here, it tends to pop up. And one of the things I wanted to do was just kind of connect it all together so this isn't popping up as it does right now. And so what I'm going to do is go through one more bead. And pick up an 11, go into this 11 here between the rondelles, and you may have to go through the rondelles in order to get through, which is what I had to do here. Just back out of that rondelle. And then go back up through the bead you just added, this 11 that we just added. Go back through that and then continue and go through the next 2 beads. So basically what we're going to do is anchor this loop to each of these 11s. So this, I'm coming out of this one, I'm going into the next 2 here. So pick up an 11, go through that 11, and again, if you end up going through the rondelle, don't worry. Back out of the rondelle, and then go back up into the 11 and then continue. And this time you only need to go through 1. You kind of have to, because it's 6 and 10. So there's 6 of these beads, but there's 10 of these 11s here. So the smaller ring has got more beads in it. So you're actually gonna kind of want to watch just where you are positioned. That's all. So in this case, I went through 1, and I'm going to pick up an 11, go through just the 11 if I can. Yeah, so I'm not going to fight this too much. So if it doesn't want to go through, I'm going to basically try to pop through the rondelle and then back out, which seems to work a lot better, except in this particular case. So none of these holes are clogged or filled up with thread or anything. This is just angles. Okay, so I just backed out. I'm coming out of this 11 again, so I'll go back up through the new 11, continue forward. So I'm going to go 1 bead and 1 more, because what I want to do again is anchor. Get that tail out of the way. So I'm going to go ahead and anchor. I still have 2 more to anchor. So anchor this one here. And once you start anchoring a couple of these, you can start to see that they start lining up. So you'll know exactly which bead to come out of. And again, pick up 1, go through just the 11, which in this case worked. And then back up the new 11 you just added, and then continue forward. Oop. I'm going to go through. So I went through 1, I'm going to go through the second one here. Pick up an 11. Go through the 11 here, then back up the 11 we just added and continue. And actually, just want to go through 1. There we go. And 1, this is the last time. Pick up an 11, go into this 11 here, then pop back up. And tighten, and there you have it. So that's what your piece should look like. And so now what I'm going to do is actually add some 15. So this is an optional step, but one of the things that bothers me is that there's these little gaps that are created when you anchor the loop. So I just grabbed some 15s in a color that matches. You could also do a white 15 or a blue 15 just to add a little contrast, and that would look good too. So go ahead and take the 15 and go through, and you'll notice where it goes. So I'm going to go through 2 beads here to kind of fill in the gap there. So that pops it in right there. Here I'm going to go ahead and get this little gap, and then there's only 1 bead separating this group here, so I'm just going to go ahead and pop that in. And again, go through 2 beads after I pick up the 15. And again, pick up the 15, go through 2. Oh, and 1 more. And the last one here. So there it is, the gap is all filled in, and we are done. So the earring is complete, and all you have to do now is tie off. So I am going to go ahead and go through these beads again, and you can reinforce this, but you won't need to. I mean, we've gone through this a couple of times already. And then just go down through the bead and just tie off. So I'm going to go ahead and try to tie this off here with the rondelles. If I can, this can be tricky now because of the number of beads we have, but I can also just continue into my 11 here. And do a little half hitch over here. This is going to start to feel very secure, and you'll see that you won't need to so 1 more half hitch over here. And then I'm just going to kind of go back up here. Okay, so I will tie off, or I will trim the thread. Okay, so here's the 2 earrings right here. So really cute little stud earrings, kind of a cute color for springtime. There we go. So I hope you like this tutorial, and I'll see you in the next one.